Hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday. Hope all is well. Sending nothing but love, positivity, and love your way. So, today I decided to come on and talk a little bit with you, get a little bit of things off my chest. It's been pretty crazy, kind of intense. Just a lot of challenges all at once and trying to process it. I'm learning to take every experience and not get so. I try not to let it affect my emotions so much because I have to remind myself whenever I'm being challenged all across the board. And when I say across the board, when, my job is trying to drop a whole lot of paper, a load of paper in my lap, when I'm trying to just be pulled in so many directions, trying to maintain my bills, trying to just figure out ways to survive as a single mother, a single parent, trying to deal with other emotional people, students and adults, and family members, So sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, but then at the end of the day, I have to, like I said, remind myself that when there's a storm, the rainbow always come in afterwards. It's just the mental stamina of getting through the storm and not letting it get the best of you. And so that's kind of one of the things I'm really learning to improve on. And just recognizing that, everything is not always meant to happen the way we want them to happen. We can't control every single thing in our lives, and just being okay with trusting how things fall in place. Because sometimes it's, we look at it as a setback, but sometimes it actually helps you propel forward. You know what I mean? So these are some things that I'm learning to come to terms with, and it's ongoing. It's always ongoing. No matter how old you get, it's always a learning experience. It never stops at one point in your life and you just have it all together. You have all the answers. It doesn't work that way. So some of the craziness that I've been facing is really my students. I care so much for them, and no matter how much I fuss at them and I put them in their place, it's like I always try to pull out the potential in them. And it's like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And I'm trying to come to terms with that, because I don't want to be to the point where I'm over caring and I'm trying to get the student to make it to the next level. But this student is like, man, fuck all this, fuck school, fuck this, fuck that. And I say, okay, well, I'm going to tell your mama, well, basically they want to say fuck her too. And that's the kind of response I get. And I don't know what's going on. The frequency, I don't know. It's been crazy. I don't know if it's the transition from going from summer to autumn. But it's like recently there was like this really bad fight where one of the students, I guess now dating is early. Back then, dating in my world started at like 15, 16. Now we got fourth graders all the way up to about second grade talking about they got a girlfriend and they trying to do girlfriend, boyfriend stuff. And I feel like I blame social media and whatever they're being exposed to in their environment, But earlier this week, well, I'll say last week, a student, I guess she called herself dating this guy, this young boy, fourth grader. And he likes to play around and talk to other girls. And I guess he got on somebody's nerve, and she ended up biting him or doing something to him because he kept bothering her. But it had to be bad because this girl tried to take a plug out of his skin. Like, he was walking around with teeth print, bleeding marks in his skin. So apparently his girlfriend found out about it. I don't know how I don't know how they worked it out, but the girl was still at the school, but the boy had to go in and have his bite mark treated. So his girlfriend, so-called girlfriend, found out about it. Now, this particular girl, she's been trying to, come to me, and she calls me auntie. And I guess in so many ways she see me as a mentor, because I always try to tell these girls, look, these guys, that you can like them, but they're not worth focusing on right now. They're not worth fighting over and messing up your whole, academic career because, you're focusing on somebody that may not even like you long enough. You know what I mean? Young boys like one girl one week and another girl the next week, and that's kind of learned behavior from the adult males in their lives. And so that's what one student came to me. He said, my daddy did that to my mama. And I said, oh, okay. So now I see why you're always in all the girls' face. But anyway, so she came to me and I talked to her and I said, look, you're a beautiful young girl. I said, I want you to promise me that you're going to try harder to stay out of fights and stay focused. And she was like, okay, Miss Brown, I can do it. I'm going to try. And then later on today, I find out she gets into a fight with the girl that bit the boy, because she talking about that's my boyfriend and you ain't going to be biting on my boyfriend. So that kind of craziness went on. Then later on after that, this girl, she was telling me that she didn't have a backpack, she didn't have a purse or anything like that. So she told me, can I hold her money? She asked me, Miss Brown, can you hold my money? It was $20. I said, okay, I'll hold it, but you got to remind me to give it back to you. And so right as soon as she gave it to me, the day didn't even go by good. I put it on my desk. A few students were standing around my desk, and all of a sudden it just did a magic trick and just disappeared. None of the students wanted to confess to taking the money because I know for a fact that I put it there. And I have no reason to do anything with $20. I mean, I would love to get me a Chick-fil-A meal, but I already got my own money. I ain't like that. But anyway, so all the kids, they were all good friends. You know, they all shared secrets. They used to hang out together. But that $20, it's amazing how $20 can break up a true friendship. So one girl, she started writing out all the girls that she know that got something to do with the $20. Now, I already done gave the girl the $20. I paid her out of my pocket because I didn't want the drama and all her mama coming up to the school, want to go all off because of $20. I just didn't have time for that. So I just said, okay, fuck it. I'll just give her the $20 so I can just, make sure that part is done. But how about this same girl still trying to get the $20 out of whoever stole it? So she basically trying to get her, so she trying to make more money off somebody stealing from her so she can walk around with $40. So she going around investigating people, and I guess nobody don't want to say nothing to her because she is a little intimidating. She looked kind of rough around the edges. And so that didn't work. So then these other two girls, they were good friends. All of a sudden, they come in my classroom and they hating on each other. So as soon as I turned my back, one girl got another girl in the headlock. I mean, it was like a quiet secret fight. It was like, that's all. And all I know is I turned around, nobody even be like, oh, Miss Brown, you know how kids get all hyper and loud over a fight. That was the quietest fight I ever experienced. And all I know is one girl, how she ran over to her seat and her hair was looking all wild. The other girl was looking like, okay, we can do it again, which she don't look like she want to go around another round. And so I had to write them both up because it was apparent that, the fight took place. And then the other girl was like, well, she touched me first. And I'm like, well, you weren't even supposed to be over there. So she all worked up and getting all in her feelings. And I'm like, okay, well, you can work yourself on up and work yourself on out my classroom because that's not what we come here for. And so over $20 because one of the girls wrote a list out on all the girls that may have something to do with the $20. So, dealing with that drama, then it made it all the way to somebody's household. So the girl that's in the group, her mama calling up to the school, ain't nobody finna be putting their hands on my motherfucking daughter, and I'll come up there to the school. That's bullying my daughter. My daughter don't have no reason to take nobody $20. And I said to myself, oh my God, why? What did I sign up for? Because at the end of the day, it's like, okay, if your daughter didn't take the money, for a fact the procedure. If there's a fight that take place, we're going to have to write up a referral. Whether your daughter started it or not, that's just how it is until they investigate the situation. So I'm trying to calm this parent down. She all, acting like she want to come up to the school to fight some fourth graders. And I'm trying to let her know, don't worry, we're going to get to the bottom of it. Nobody's not going to allow your daughter to just sit and get bullied. That's a zero tolerance, especially when it comes to me and my students, because I know what that's like. I grew up around that, and I do not tolerate that at all. So that was squashed. So then, all right. We waiting until I go back to work to see how that's going to work out. Because now we will let the administrator do their job and see how well they do their job. Because I know for a fact I don't want to have to snap on nobody parent because they coming at me because they feel like I ain't being harsh enough to another student. Listen, I don't judge a book by a cover. Because she kept telling me, well, just because my daughter quiet don't mean, and she's very reserved and she doesn't mean that she took the money. I was like, look, I'm not accusing anybody until, we get the evidence, until somebody confess. But at the end of the day, I hope the light ain't bothering y'all because, it's kind of in the evening and I'm trying to get this in. I should have did it earlier. But, yeah, had to deal with other things like take care of bills. But yeah, I'm like, I know I just don't have the time for it. I don't get paid enough. And I am not a counselor and I'm definitely not a deputy. So, I have my work ethics. But at the end of the day, if somebody come to me tripping about some darn $20, it's going to be an ugly outcome. Because, it seems like these parents, they wait until petty shit starts, but then they don't want to come at me and say, hey, let's sit down and come up with a game plan to figure out how to get my daughter out of F zone. All these girls are failing because they back there writing notes about who they like. They busy talking about sleepovers. They trying to do the whoop-de-doo and trying to teach me how to do the whoop-de-doo. They focusing on everything else but what they supposed to get up and go to school for. So I got parents focusing on everything else, but let me see how I can work with the teacher and find out if there's extra credit. Let's find out why my daughter is failing. We don't got none of that going on. Everybody is on a whole nother zone level and making my job harder than it has to be. So along with all of that going on, I got a coworker, right, that her daughter is in my class. So every time she's like spoiled, they from the islands. I don't know what kind of cultural type of situation they got going on. But when you come over into America, and you deal with American kids, all that what you grew up around, all of that gonna have to be put and packed in your luggage, because these kids over in America is a whole different breed, whole different ball game, whole different focus, and times have changed from when I was younger. Back then, how they helped a lot of us kids my age back in the 80s stay under control. We used to watch a lot of programmed shows that encourage empathy, like Care Bears. I grew up around what else that we used to watch that was very motivational, the Cosby Show, Different World, trying to focus on the betterment of education. And I think the most craziest show we watched was Cops, and Freddy Krueger. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of access to the different shows because I grew up in a Christian household, and my grandparents thought everything was a sin and we couldn't watch it. But that's what I was going to say. Just you can't just keep judging people, judging things, and I'll get to that. I want to skip around too much and miss my whole point. But so my coworker comes to me and she's telling me that my daughter told me that a student bumped into her, and I don't know what's going on with the student, but I trust that you will handle the situation because I don't want to have to talk to the student. So I'm like, oh God, here's some more drama. I'm like, okay, I'll definitely keep an eye on the student. I'll make note, document it, and definitely handle it. All right. So then another incident come up. Same girl going to her mama. I'm like, I told the girl, I said, look, yeah, I know your mom is a teacher, but she teaches 5th grade. She's in a whole nother building. Right now, I deal with all the issues that take place in my classroom. So if you have an issue, please come and talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for. I'm not just here to teach you how to read and write, but I'm here to help you find your social skills so you can be able to stand up for yourself. So apparently all that went in one ear and came out the other. She goes and tell her mama that somebody stole some hand sanitizer out of her backpack. Now, this is supposed to be special hand sanitizer, a little small bottle that got ocean on it. She goes to tell her mama. Her mom comes to me during lunchtime. I'm already annoyed because I got to sit in the lunchroom while I eat lunch. So I don't have time to regroup. But the mama comes up to me and say, there's been information that's been coming to me about my daughter. And somebody stole some hand sanitizer out of her backpack, and I need it to be retrieved right now. I said, well, it's going to be challenging because, when kids steal things, they don't like to confess. They don't want to deal with the consequences, but I'll do my best. Well, what I suggest that you do is check all of their backpacks. I'm like, is this fucking lady crazy? Because she expect me to pat down and check 60 students to look for little hand sanitizer when you can go to the damn Dollar Tree to get some more. But, I have to act cordial because I signed the worth ethic document. I signed a being positive and being collaborative document. But I know if I didn't sign that paper, I would have been told her where to put that hand sanitizer. I would have been went off on that parent. I would have been said some things because for some reason, these kids think that just because, we're teachers, we're supposed to be perfect human beings and we're supposed to do everything all right and make peace and harmony. Yeah, I'm all big on that, but I'm all big on respect. And because I am a teacher does not give anybody the right to come and try to bully me and tell me how to run my classroom, how to deal with discipline, how to deal with none of that. You got to be in my shoes. Don't be out there running your mouth, and then when it's time for grades to come in, then you looking all crazy in the face. When we talking about teamwork, you need to come in and find out why your child is failing. Maybe it's because of the behavior. Maybe because they got a mama that always running to their rescue when shit hit the fan, but at the same time, you ain't trying to prevent shit from hitting the fan. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is, as a teacher, and to all the new teachers out there, or all the teachers that inspiring teachers or aspiring teachers, keep your head up out there because you really got to know what you're getting yourself into. This is a government tied to this kind of job. So you got to know it's going to come with a lot of stress and a lot of BS. And it's going to be a lot of unfair treatment. Your morals will be tested. Your respect will be tested. So you got to know what you're about to get into when you come this way. And then you say to yourself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it? Because half of the time you got to go through hoops and hurdles and kiss a lot of ass just to get a little pay raise. So you got to find out, is it really worth it? But basically, the overall, it's not just of the video, not to just vent about some tripping ass, kids and parents, but also to get people to understand that don't be so quick to judge a book by its cover. And that's a very, very deep meaning. I know that's a saying that's been traveling throughout the world, but it has a lot of deep meaning to that because a lot of times people, let me go ahead and answer his question because he'll keep calling. Yeah. So my son trying to send me on a store trip again. I knew it. I knew if I didn't text him back, he was going to call me. But anyway, like I was saying, don't judge a book by its cover, because sometimes it will put you in a very jacked up situation, and it will put you in a situation where you will make, some really messed up decisions. And let me tell you why I say this. Some people, like the lady, like on the job, like she was saying, my daughter is quiet and, very reserved. It doesn't mean that your child is perfect. Just because your child come home, do all their chores, say yes, ma'am, and have a lot of respect does not mean that your child will not go out and get in some trouble and make poor choices. Like I said, the purpose of our human experience on this earth is to make mistakes so we can grow, learn a lesson, and move on spiritually. So with that being said, I don't care if a child come to my school dressed down with all name brand clothes. They can make all straight A's. I would not put anything past them. Not saying that, the child is automatically guilty, but I just don't immediately say, okay, well, because the child does A, B, and C, I can trust everything that child say out of their mouth. There was a student in my classroom that came in and all of her braids were, she had like a braid pattern going to the side, but all of them was falling out, slipping out. And so I told the student, I said, look, that's a concerning situation because, for your hair to be slipping out like that, and I'm talking about her real hair coming out with the braid, not just the braid coming out. I said, you might want to have your mom look into it because it could possibly be a sign of alopecia. I said, did your mom when she braided your hair, was it real tight or whatever? Now she already walking around with yellow hair and she stands out. And I ain't gonna lie, because I got my little orange fall color, but it's like, you got to know how to pick the right color to match your complexion. You can't just certain things you just shouldn't do. Okay. So she already tall, big. She stayed back a couple of grades. Like I said, this is the one with the beautiful chocolate black skin. She has some beautiful silky smooth skin. But when you walk around with bright yellow hair, people gonna look at you. And she kept walking around saying, I'm so embarrassed. My hair falling out. So she goes over to the clinic. She tells the clinic, hey, my hair falling out. They didn't know what to do. So they tried to staple the braid back in her hair. The lady in the clinic accidentally poked a hole in her scalp. So now she bleeding and losing her hair at the same time. But with that being said, that kind of was a fail. The girl goes home. Now, this is a sweet girl. This is the girl that's dealing with self-esteem issues. She's really trying her best, but she really need a lot of confident building. She need a lot of guidance, a lot of help. She goes home and tells her mama that I was talking bad about her hair. I was embarrassing her in front of everybody. And she felt so bad and really terrible. And she really don't want to come back to the school. And I'm like, are you serious that this child went home? I'm trying to help the girl out. All I didn't make a diagnosis. I just recommended that her mom look into that situation. But that's what I'm saying. No matter how much somebody look innocent, somebody look cute, somebody look fine, do not judge a book by its cover. And I mean, literally, don't judge a book by its cover. Just because, here's another example. This is not even school related. Just because you run into this fine, sexy man that work hard, that got all the ladies flocking over him, just because he know how to throw down in the bedroom, his dick is the right size, and he knows all the tricks and licks, does not mean that he don't have other issues. Does not mean he don't have no drama hidden deep within himself and no trauma. Does not mean he won't flip mode on you and treat you like an enemy in a heartbeat. Just because a guy got a lot of money in the bank, because I know a lot of girls be like, my nigga gotta have the bag. Okay, he can have the bag, but what happens when he gotta share the bag with other baby mamas? Okay, what happens when he feel like, okay, you just an option? Because if the minute you slip up and want to start tripping, he don't gotta kiss your ass. He can just throw you to the curb because he got a bag for backup. He can go and replace you in a heartbeat. Okay, what about the book situation? A lot of people think and live and breathe and eat by the Bible. But what happens when you run into a scripture that don't make no damn sense? What happens when you find out that a whale can't really swallow a whole human being? Unless you want to talk about some magical powers. But when you look up the size of a whale's stomach, then you realize, okay, well, what Jonah hung out at? Because I know damn well he ain't hang out in nobody in a whale's stomach when they talking about it's the size of a grapefruit. What's that about? So, look, I ain't trying to, be disrespectful to anybody cultural and ideas. I'm very all open for learning. But at the end of the day, You have to learn how to go through the experience. You can't control the experience, and you have to just live in that moment. So when you read, okay, I take it at face value, but at the same time, I know I got to look at some things as a moral or a parable, okay, as a fairy tale. I can't believe based on what I see on the outside, based on what people tell me, that is actually a fact. Just because, and people go through changes. Books get edited. The Bible got edited more than 100 times. You know, people be so quick to say, oh, this is a heathen. She's a sinner. She's a hoe. Well, what happens when your sin is looked at? No, you probably don't have a high body count, but you probably was a thief. You probably had addiction. You probably was, killing people with your words. Yes, you can kill people and murder people with your words. So don't walk around and act like you all high and mighty and perfect. Don't try to, I wouldn't recommend it. I ain't gonna say what you can and can't do. I wouldn't recommend it because karma is a hell of a bitch. And trust me, I done got my ass whooped by karma a few times. So when I'm speaking and spitting out some information and some things that can make a difference in your life, don't judge it. Just take it, learn from it, and see how it fits in your life. Because at the end of the day, you gotta live your life. I always try to give advice because I wouldn't want to see anybody suffer. I want to see everybody make it. I want to see everybody happy. Unfortunately, everybody don't have the same mindset. You got a whole lot of haters waiting for you to fuck up so they can rub it in your face and hide all their shit in the closet. So, with that being said, be better for the community. Be better for these children because they need help. I got thieves. I got people talking about smashing. I got a 4th grader talking about he want to hump one of the teachers because she got a fat ass. Like, we need to get these kids back on track because they oh my God, this is our future, Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm trying not to get too emotional. I'm very passionate because that's a part of my sign. But with that being said, y'all stay encouraged, stay positive, be strong out there. These are some hard times, Trump out here messing with people's food, messing with people's money. Don't depend on the government. I will tell you this 100 times. Don't depend on it. Don't depend on it because it can go left any minute. I ain't gonna try to go into that detail. That's a whole nother story for a different day. But guys, keep your head up, love yourself, and make a positive difference in our society. Peace out.